Tonight, Catholic congregations mourn the death of Pope Francis, while advocates push for a more modern church, and Elections Canada sees record numbers at advanced polling stations.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. We're a slightly shorter show this evening because of the Easter holiday, but there's a lot of local news to tell you about, and we begin with yet another weapons offense in St. John's. One person was taken into custody Sunday after the RNC issued a shelter-in-place order in the early afternoon. Police say they were responding to reports of a weapons offense on Mooney Crescent in Kilbride. A heavy police presence remained in the area as officers investigated. No injuries were reported and no other details are known at this time. An entrepreneur and philanthropist from one of the province's most prominent families has died. Rob Crosby was chairman of Crosby Group Limited. He was the son of the late Andrew Crosby and nephew of former federal cabinet minister John Crosby. He spent decades working in oil and gas and was made a member of the Order of Canada in 2018 and spent 8 years as chairman of the board for Marine Atlantic. He's being remembered by Energy NL as a humble industry titan. Crosby died Friday at the age of 67. Well, the son of a Newfoundland and Labrador broadcasting CEO was shot and killed in an altercation with police in California. It happened Thursday night during a traffic stop. According to police in Newport Beach, Jeffrey Sterling, the son of NTV CEO Scott Sterling, was driving a motorcycle at the time. A police report says Sterling became uncooperative and that he removed a taser from the officer's belt and attempted to tase the officer multiple times. Sterling was taken to hospital where he was later pronounced dead. The California Department of Justice is investigating the incident. While Roman Catholic clergy in this province are mourning the death of Pope Francis, some advocates fighting to end sexual abuse say Francis's 12 years as head of the church fell short on action. Here Now's Heather Gillis has that story.
Bells toll to mark noon at the province's most prominent Roman Catholic church. And inside, before the altar, a special offering. Flowers, candles, also a book of condolences to commemorate the life of Pope Francis.
And so it is a sad day for the church, but a day to reflect on how blessed we've been to have had such a wonderful leader.
Father Paul Lundgren with the Holy Trinity Parish in Torbay says Francis was a progressive leader. Someone who apologized to residential school survivors, listened to survivors of clergy sexual abuse, and to members of the LGBT community. Though Lundgren says there are still steps to be taken to modernize the church. Women, for example, he says, still can't be ordained.
You know, I would have liked to have seen a lot of other things done. I will never criticize this man for all that he did because he has brought things forward and has opened up conversations that had not been taking place.
The Archbishop of St. John's, Peter Hunt, says he was also shocked to hear of the Pope's passing after he delivered an Easter address in St. Peter's Square on Sunday. He says Francis's legacy reaches far beyond the walls of the Catholic Church.
In terms of the abuse scandals, I think he was certainly somebody that admitted we made mistakes and apologized for that. I think for some people anyway, that helped to bring them healing.
Well, of course, my first reaction is to offer my heartfelt condolences to all who loved and mourned the loss of this Pope.
Gemma Hickey, who is a survivor of clergy sexual abuse and runs an organization to end it, is working with Vatican officials to change canon law. And if successful, clergy found guilty of abusing a child or vulnerable person would be permanently removed, not relocated from parish to parish. Hickey says abuse survivors want more than symbolic gestures and private apologies. They want concrete steps forward. And while Hickey agrees that Pope Francis was progressive, they too had hoped to see more action, more transparency, and accountability.
Certainly what I'm looking for, what we're looking for, is someone's record on how they have handled abuse in the past.
A special Mass will be held for Pope Francis here at the Basilica in St. John's on Thursday. Heather Gillis, CBC News, St. John's.
Cost of living is a big issue candidates are hearing about on the doorstep in the newly renamed riding of Central Newfoundland. Formerly known as Coast of Bay's Central Notre Dame, the vast area is represented by the Conservatives. But as Troy Turner reports, 2 other candidates are vying for that seat, and they're knocking on as many doors as possible.
Clifford Small gets a welcome reception at doors in Northern Arm. It's one of the many rural communities he's hoping will vote blue in the upcoming election. He says it's also one of the many areas where there are complaints about the cost of living.
The main thing is the increase in the price of food, the inflation, and although inflation slowed a little bit lately, the gains in prices over the last 4 or 5 years are through the roof, and people's money isn't worth what it used to be, and they see it in a bag of groceries.
Small was the lone Conservative elected in Newfoundland and Labrador in the last election. He says people in this largely rural riding want to see more opportunities.
We have to take advantage of our mining opportunities and make sure that our youth are being trained and able to take advantage of the growth in mining so that they can stay home and earn powerful paychecks. The leader asked me, Cliff, what's important in Newfoundland and Labrador? Where do we need to go to grow Newfoundland and Labrador? And folks at the door, they know it, and they like him quite a bit.
Liberal Lynette Powell is also lauding the popularity of her leader.
The ballot question in this election is who is going to be the best person to lead Canada in the next few years with the United States being not the United States any of us knew. Mark Carney's the man. I think he understands the economy. He's going to build the economy, but he's still going to protect our social programs that we need so much here in Newfoundland and Labrador. We cannot leave marginalized people behind.
Powell, a medical doctor, also says affordability and sustainability are top of mind for constituents.
We need economic growth to help us, with the affordability. We need housing. We always think our best resource is oil and gas, but our best resource is the people here. We need to look at the other resources we have here. We have sustainable other electric, hydroelectric, wind energy.
So the most important issue in my riding is going to be the cost of living, and on top of that, healthcare. They're 1A, 1B, depending on the time of day you want to look at it. They are both top of the line issues, and every other issue that people in Newfoundland and people in Canada deal with probably fall off of one of those two as it is.
NDP candidate Darian Vincent grew up in British Columbia. He now lives in Bay Roberts, but has family connections to the Bonavista North area.
Diversifying is absolutely something we need to be looking at, whether we're looking at more hydroelectric power. We have the water there, right? There's no doubt about that. If you look at Europe and some places in the States, they do a lot with their wind. We're one of the windiest places on the planet.
There are hundreds of kilometers of road to travel in this riding. As the campaign hits the home stretch, candidates say it's their priority to visit as many communities as they can and to knock on as many doors as possible. Troy Turner, CBC News, Botwood.
And staying with the federal election, Elections Canada says a record 2 million voters turned out to cast their ballots on the first day of advance polls. Those polls remain open until 9 o'clock tonight, and you also have until tomorrow evening to vote in person or by special ballot at your nearest Elections Canada office. Here now's Peter Cowan spoke with some early voters about why they didn't want to wait.
Turnout has been great. People are so positive, they are very enthusiastic, and they're bound and determined that they can vote before they head on holidays or if they just wanted to come in and vote.
Why was it important to come out and vote on the very first day of advance polls?
On the very first day of advance polls, I was thinking about the inflation, the cost of living, and the healthcare, because our healthcare seems like it's going downhill. The inflation, the cost of living is going up every day. So this is why I decided to come out early and have a vote.
What issues were important for you in this election?
Well, the obvious one is the relationship with the United States at the moment. It's just pretty terrifying, I think, and you got to get out and vote and do your bit, because I don't think it's been a situation where it's the whole concept of Canada is kind of at question at the moment.
I think all elections are important. I think that a strong democracy is when as many people as possible can vote. But when the voters tell me that, it's a great day.
Liberal leader Mark Carney is promising to lower costs for Marine Atlantic ferry passengers by at least half. It's all part of his party's pledge to make transportation for Atlantic Canadians more affordable. This comes after Premier Andrew Furey called for ferry services to be made free for residents of Newfoundland and Labrador. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh has also said he would lower fees if elected, while Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has said his party will look into it. Liberals will soon elect a new leader and your 15th premier of the province. Will it be John Abbott or John Hogan?
With my experience and calm and steady hand,
I have the experience, the knowledge, and certainly the commitment.
On Wednesday, April 23rd, Here and Now will present a live 40-minute debate as both contenders present their pitch on why they should lead the province. Well, Kitty Vitty Brewery was brimming with support over the weekend for a benefit concert in support of the annual Newfoundland and Labrador Folk Festival. Just last month, the Folk Arts Society said it was in severe danger of shutting down due to poor finances. The group says it's thrilled to see such an outpouring from the community.
I'm Julie Vogt. I'm the board president for the Newfoundland and Labrador Folk Arts Society. We are so excited. Today is our benefit fundraiser sponsored by Kitty Vitty, the wonderful Kitty Vitty Brewery. And we have entertainment all day long. And we have good folks like my new friends here who came in to support the Folk Festival. And we are just having a rip-roaring time. I retired last year, waved goodbye at the Folk Festival. And then when I saw what was happening here, I said, this cannot go away. Our Folk Festival daytime programming where we highlight all the wonderful Newfoundland musicians and arts people cannot go away. It's who we are in our province. And I said, before we decide to just shut the doors, why don't we ask the people what they want? And look at this, it's packed.
I've been attending the Folk Festival myself for probably 15 or 20 years now, and Kitty Vitty Brewery's been one of the sponsors for 5 years. So when we heard the news that the Folk Festival was kind of in jeopardy for this summer, I mean, like, they're coming up on their 50th anniversary next year, I couldn't really picture a Newfoundland summer without having a Folk Festival weekend. So we reached out to Julie Vogt and got behind it right away and tried to put this fundraiser together.
This year, the bunch of us turned 50 years old. In a celebration of that, we had planned to go to Nashville. And when, things went a little haywire in the past couple of months, we decided that, we wanted to discover our country first. So we chose St. John's. It was the only other place where we knew we could get music night after night after night. I mean, this struggle is the same everywhere. I mean, I organized festivals in Ontario for many years, and working on niche festivals like folk festivals like this, it's a tough run. So this is not a unique challenge, but it's so important what's happening here, to rebuild and to keep these festivals alive. It's super important.
It's about community, bringing community together to support something that can't be lost in this province. When you look at who, I know most of the people in this place right now, because we all are folkies at heart, and we're going to do it. We are going to do it. It's about community, love of place. That's what it's about.
Ever since I was a young boy, I've been seeing polar bears. Well, they come down the sea ice, and if they go too far to the south, this is usually their migration path to go back. He was having a good feed, so he wasn't too much worried about weight. But all he had to do was look at his fur. His fur was yellow, and that means he had a lot to eat before he came here. He's been eating a lot of seal and got a lot of fat into him, but if he white, he didn't eat very much.
That's pretty incredible. Thanks to Ephraim Smith for that video of a weekend polar bear sighting in North Boat Harbor. Now, you saw snow there, and there was a lot more of that, especially today for parts of the province, thanks to this area of low pressure. It is going to continue as we head through the night tonight, and a little bit of roller coaster temperatures over the next couple of days. I'll break it all down for you coming up.
Well, Ashley, we had some beautiful weather over the long weekend, but not nice out there today.
No, it all started yesterday, really, for parts of the province, waking up to some snow as well through Central. Take a look at this photo. I know all of our flowers are starting to peek through because of the weather that we've been seeing, but I thought this was such a great photo. Ruth sent it along with this caption of "Be like a tulip and weather the storm." So we certainly saw quite a bit of snow today, anywhere from 10 to 15 centimeters falling, very wet snow out there, and even happening in the metro area as well here in St. John's, just outside our studio. Nothing sticking because it is really wet, but it's also really windy out there. Temperatures hovering around the 0 degree mark. That wind chill feeling more like -8, with those winds out of the north-northwest gusting near 63 kilometers per hour. Now, taking a look at the winds across the province, not a whole lot up across Labrador, but you get further away or closer rather to that area of low pressure. Twillingate seeing a gust around 81 kilometers per hour right now, and Bonavista 94 kilometers per hour. So no surprise, you are under a wind warning, but we should see that those winds ease a little bit anyway, at least below warning criteria as we head through the night tonight. Now, as far as the temperatures go for most of the province, we're generally sitting around the 0 degree mark in that onshore flow in those northwesterly winds along the northeast coast. And you head a little bit further away from that, temperatures are milder, anywhere from 4 to 7 degrees. And then up across Labrador, your temperatures between 1 and about +4 right now. So temperatures are going to be a little bit of a roller coaster as we head through the next couple of days. But just taking a look at the satellite radar, you really can see that onshore flow. Weather, not too bad along southern areas of the island at the moment, but I'll get rid of that cloud cover and you can see where that snow is. Now, still reporting snow through parts of Central as well in Gander. Light snow and blowing snow, but we will continue to see this wet snow further east as we head through tonight. That will be the story really all along the northeast coast, coastal areas of Labrador as well. Eventually this will taper off as we head towards the early morning hours, and then through the morning most of us will be seeing just generally cloudy skies. Now, for those of you on the west coast tomorrow, even up across parts of Labrador, you will see some sunshine, and I do think the Avalon will likely see some peaks of sun as the day goes on, particularly late day for the northern peninsula, and pretty much staying quiet for most of the day. Now, Labrador, through the afternoon tomorrow, you may see a few flurries, especially for the west, but that's really about it. Your temperatures, again, will stay cool in that onshore flow, that northwesterly winds gusting upwards of about 70 kilometers per hour all along the northeast coast tomorrow. You get away from that, though, temperatures should reach between 6 to 10 degrees as the afternoon high. And then for Labrador, coastal areas, 2 to 6 degrees. A little further inland, Happy Valley Goose Bay, you should hover around 8. And then southeasterlies will be upwards of about 40 kilometers per hour. And again, that potential for a few flurries for Lab City. Now, that area of low pressure departs as we head into Wednesday, fairly quiet, at least to start. We will see some unsettled conditions, though, for the southwest and south coast of the island, and that will eventually push north as we head through the overnight. So don't be surprised to see that. But temperatures on Wednesday should sit, varying levels of temperatures, but between 7 and 10 degrees now along the south and the north of northern peninsula. You'll be around 3 or 4 degrees, and then most of Labrador between 2 and 6 as your daytime highs. Now, if we take a look at the long range forecast, definitely a roller coaster, dropping back down as we head into Thursday. Now, there is a chance that we will see a few showers or flurries, at least for the first part of the day. It should remain cloudy, and then bumping right back up to about 9 degrees on Friday, a decent day on tap. And then for Saturday, the chance of a few flurries or showers. Looks like your temperatures will hover around the 4 degree mark. A little less dramatic of a change for central and western Newfoundland, although you will be seeing your temperatures somewhere between 5 to 8 degrees. And then for Labrador as well. Quite mild in the east, where you'll be hovering between 7 and 9 degrees, and then only about 3 or 4 degrees for western Labrador. Now, our weather photo of the day is a great shot of a nice rainbow there right at the end of the highway. No pot of gold, but as Diane mentioned. So if you have any weather photos, we'd love to see them. And you can share them with us by sending them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Liberals will soon elect a new leader and your 15th premier of the province. Will it be John Abbott or John Hogan?
With my experience and calm and steady hand,
I have the experience, the knowledge, and certainly the commitment.
On Wednesday, April 23rd, Here and Now will present a live 40-minute debate as both contenders present their pitch on why they should lead the province. Well, how's this for a sign of spring? The Botanical Garden in St. John's hosted an event this weekend called CD Saturday, all about encouraging gardeners to get growing and share what they've learned.
This is our fourth annual CD Saturday event, and it's an event that brings together gardeners, homesteaders, folks interested in food security to share information, to share seeds, and to also we have an added sustainability piece to it. We want people to bring in gardening tools and books and magazines, things that still have a use but that you're no longer using. So we're trying to keep some things out of landfill and keep information and seeds flowing. This is a great opportunity for some, as you say, newbies, as folks who are newer to the garden and growing their own, whether it's food, whether it's ornamentals, to have access to professionals in the field and experts in the field to get their questions answered one-on-one.
Well, you know, you think about a seed. What is a seed? It's this tiny little thing, and it's dormant. It carries within it knowledge in the form of DNA. And you put that seed in the ground, and within a week or two or a month, now there's a whole plant based on that critical information hidden inside the seed. And the same thing is true here for gardeners and for people who care about food, is that there are bundles of information that those of us who are gardeners and learners carry. And if we share that information, then it becomes more common knowledge and more people get to participate in growing their own food. So the potential is enormous.
Oh, I can't wait to start growing things.
It's so close.
Oh, so close. Well, that's it for us. Thank you so much for spending part of your evening with us. As I mentioned earlier, we're a shorter show tonight due to the Easter holiday, but we're back to a full hour tomorrow evening and hope to see you then.
Good night.